have heard of the Vinnytsia water tower for sure. It is the main business card of the city, which is spread out on the southern Bug River, where there once was a castle, preserved fortifications, majestic 18th century church, and for almost 100 years a large confectionery factory, which we know today as Roshan, has not stopped working. Can you imagine what was inside the very famous Vinnytsia water tower? Greetings to everyone. This is a special project of the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center, More Than Just Cities Code of Resiliency, the purpose of which is to show the historical and cultural depth, the main features of large Ukrainian cities, as well as to highlight their contribution to the stability and defense significance of Ukraine in the conditions of an unprecedented war for the 21st century, the war for independence, which our people are waging against Moscow imperialism and genocide. My name is Ihor Istanbul, and I am the project coordinator and its host. One of the key architectural symbols of the city is the water tower, built at the beginning of the 20th century according to the design of architect Grigory Artemov. It became a sign of the city's modernization and an example of combining engineering thought with architectural expressiveness. The tower is a marker of Vinnytsia's transition to a modern urban space, as well as a symbol of historical continuity, from traditional Podillia city to a modern Ukrainian center. Its functional purposes were quite different, from a water tower, a fire tower, an observation post for the military, municipal housing, and till museum space. Today, the city of Vinnytsia is famous for its comfort and conveniency for its citizens, but it also welcomes guests hospitably and responds quickly to today's challenges. So quickly that Vinnytsia residents can be proud of their leadership and innovations. For example, in this city of Podillia, the first Department of Entrance Policy in Ukraine has been launched. Vinnytsia Region is a huge logistics hub and a friendly space for displaced people. We have officially registered 142,000 internally displaced persons. And also in Vinnytsia Region, the pilot project Veterans Assistant was launched. Now, this position sounds like a specialist in veterans support. We are the first region where we've got the first veteran policy department in Ukraine, and we have a very strong development of work with veterans in general. We have many spaces that are opening hubs, centers. We have a very strong development of adaptive sports. Rehabilitation departments for military veterans are being opened. That is, we can say that Vinnytsia is one of the centers of veteran policy. An important reason for the development of cozy city of Vinnytsia was its central geographical location in relation to modern territory of Ukraine. This made it significant for many historical eras, from the Lithuanian era and the Cossack Revolution to the first independence of Ukraine in 1918 in particular. Moreover, on the main street of the city, which is called Soborna Street, you can still see the Savoy Hotel, where the government of the Ukrainian People's Republic once met, and the city itself became the capital of Democratic Republican Ukraine at the time. In 1362, the battle on the Blue Waters took place. Its consequence was the loss of power by the Tatars in the territories of Podillia and establishment of the Podillia Principality by the Lithuanian Princess Kuratoviches. The chronicle says that when they came to these lands, not a single city was built here, neither of wood nor of stone, which in fact indicates the lack of evidence and lack of fortifications. And probably starting from the first year of their reign in 1363, they began to build a system of fortifications. An important stage in the development of the city was the acquisition of Magdeburg law in 1640. This meant the consolidation of the tradition of city self-government, characteristic of Ukrainian cities of Central and Eastern Europe. The city community received the right to elect its own authorities, conduct judicial proceedings, and regulate economic life. Magdeburg law contributed to the formation of the city community and the development of crafts and trade. It became the institutional basis of urban identity, which was preserved even during the periods of loss of political autonomy. In the 18th century, Vinnytsia experienced complex transformations associated with military conflicts, Cossack uprisings, and, incidentally, the Commonwealth. Despite this, the city remained an important center of Ukrainian life in Podillia, preserving traditional culture and language. After 1793, when the city became part of the Russian Empire, it passed into the imperial administrative system. At the same time, in the 19th century, it was developed as a county and later provincial center. Despite the processes of Russification, Vinnytsia remained part of Ukrainian cultural space. The city was closely connected with the village, folk tradition, and regional identity of Podillia, which ensured the preservation of Ukrainian character of urban environment. During the Ukrainian Revolution of 1917-1921, Vinnytsia gained special importance. In 1919 till 1920, it became one of the centers of the Ukrainian People's Republic, the place of residence of the directorate and adoption of important state decisions. This confirmed the role of the city as an active participant in the processes of Ukrainian state formation. In the subsequent 20th century, Vinnytsia suffered political repressions by the communist totalitarian regime, Nazi occupation, and significant human losses. However, the city has retained its social and cultural continuity. The cultural and social continuity of the city has also been manifested in the nature, sensitivity, and creativity of its residents. Although the city is relatively far from the front line, Vinnytsia region is a border region which has brought its own challenges. Volunteer community and personal stories make the city unique even today. At the beginning of the full-scale war, Vinnytsia, just like many other regions of Ukraine, has united and worked as one strong organism. Everyone joined in helping the front line. Those who could not go and fight, they were volunteering. Nets were woven, dumplings were made, vegetables and fruits were prepared, cooked, and dried. And then small groups of people were sent massively to the front line with the buses to somehow contribute and help with the victory. And every vehicle, every grocery set were sent with this message: everything for the victory. This cohesion and unity of Vinnytsia residents was felt just on a physical level. It was wordless, just no words. The words were not needed. Of course, in addition to being united, a big role played that the Transnistria is really close to us. We were making Molotov cocktails, and we were making the so-called hedgehogs. Everyone said we won't let anyone into our land. In addition, we were making nets, of course. By the way, fishing nets disappeared from the shops immediately, everywhere. And advertisements, announcements were placed, asking if anyone had any old fishing nets left, please bring them. In each school, they were making that on their own. These frames on which they put the nets, and they were cutting the fabrics, and they were weaving the nets. I think it seems to me that a lot of people were really involved in this. During these 4 years, each community allocated huge funds. It seems to me that Vinnytsia ranks second among the regions in terms of the percentage of these funds that were officially allocated for drones from community budgets. In addition, they constantly collected donations for what was needed for the front, and of course that was sent. Vinnytsia has many public and volunteer initiatives, among them Faina Zdybinka. It's a whole tradition that combines a festival of craft products with fundraising to support the armed forces of Ukraine. Perhaps this is the modern Vinnytsia tradition, which uses the power of entrepreneurial initiative to fulfill two strategic tasks: to help the military and support Ukrainian craft producers. This is a socio-cultural event that takes place 4 times a year in every season in Vinnytsia, sometimes more often. We are a commercial event with mandatory charitable component. That is, we always provide space for various public organizations or social volunteer initiatives so that they can present their activities at our events, thereby getting to know more people. Because it is an offline event and it is much more nice for people to get involved into something when they see people who volunteer in person, people who volunteer for this organization. The second part is that each of our events we open together with different charity organizations, and we have charity fundraising together with various foundations for the needs of the armed forces of Ukraine, depending on the foundation. The foundations receive some requests from the militaries, and then they give us the request. They tell us how much do we need to raise. We set ourselves this target amount and hope that everything will work out. Sometimes that happens quickly. Right after the event, we already have the target amount. Sometimes it happens so that we have to come up with some different interactive things in order to collect this amount to fundraise. As I've mentioned, we have a free entrance that limits a bit the amount that we can fundraise, because we do understand that if we have some fee for the entrance, then we can collect more. But as of now, it's our decision to make it in this format. And also, importantly, we have at our Zdybinka every time from 50 to 100 and sometimes even 200 participants at our fundraising every time. And that's a lot. That's a very wide variety of products that you can buy. And each and every person who participates in the event donates certain percentage from their profit, from their income, to our main fundraising campaign. That is, even when you buy something seemingly in the market, you also donate. It's just a circulation of funds that, in addition to supporting the person who made something, stayed in Ukraine, bought these materials, molded them, painted them, and creativity. You understand, there's no need to explain why it is necessary to support local manufacturers and not buy something in China, because we do understand that you can buy Chinese alternative, but where these funds go is another question. So if you want to get to know with local producers, manufacturers, craftsmen, and dreamers, I would say, then you can come talk to them and also join one big goal. And I always say that if there is no possibility to support financially, informational support is always helpful. Volunteer support is also helpful, because at every event, except for our main fundraising, we, for example, have the participation of the volunteer team Masked. These are volunteers who are making the camouflage nets, and they always seek help from volunteers. And also the materials for these nets have to be bought somewhere, and they came up with an idea based on the invitation from Zdybinka once, that they will make a book fair, and people are donating books to them. They are collecting the books, they sell them at Zdybinka, and then all the money they get from this, they spend on procuring materials for these camouflage nets. So Vinnytsia is a city of modern, socially active Ukrainians who remember their historical realities, and thanks to this demonstrate excellent examples of social leadership, creativity, and entrepreneurship. During the modern war of Ukraine for independence, Vinnytsia is a symbol of urban resiliency, mutual support, and civil activism. Volunteer movements, support for the military, and new social initiatives prove that the strength of the city lies primarily in its people. That is why Vinnytsia is more than just a city. It's part of the Ukrainian Code of Resilience, which today helps our state to survive and win. Thank you for being with us. This was a project of the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center, More Than Just Cities, a Code of Resilience. Subscribe, share the video, and support Ukrainian narratives.